Ladies and gentlemen, there's a silent moment when you stop chasing someone and everything changes. In that pause, a truth emerges. A truth about respect, attraction, and the value you place on yourself. Because sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is to do nothing at all. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when you realize that the way you value yourself sets the tone for how the world will value you. There comes a moment when you understand that self-worth is not something you beg for, not something you borrow, not something you negotiate, but something you own, deep within your soul, unshakable, unmovable, untouchable, no matter who comes or who leaves, no matter who approves or who rejects you, no matter who praises or criticizes you, because self-worth is not up for discussion, it's a fact you declare, not a favor you request. When you stop chasing, you send a silent, powerful message. You say without saying, I know what I bring. I know who I am. I know what I deserve. And that message echoes louder than any argument, any explanation, any emotional plea, because it comes from a place of strength, a place of calm confidence, a place where you no longer have to prove yourself to anyone who cannot see your value. So many people spend their lives running after those who walk away, investing their time, their energy, their heart into convincing someone to stay. But here's the truth. The people who truly see your value will never make you chase it. They will never make you beg for it. They will never keep you guessing about whether you matter. Because respect, ladies and gentlemen, is not something you extract through effort. It's something you receive naturally from those who understand your worth. Self-worth is like a mirror. The way you hold it determines the reflection others will see. If you hold it high, people lift their eyes, they straighten their back, they step carefully, they speak with thought, they treat you as someone of value. But if you lower that mirror, if you hold it close to the ground, if you allow anyone to trample on it, you send a different message. You tell them, it's okay to undervalue me. It's okay to ignore me. It's okay to take me for granted. And that, my friends, is how you teach the world to disrespect you. Stopping the chase is not about pride. It's not about games. It's about standards. It's about saying why I'm not afraid to be alone. I am not afraid of silence. I am not afraid of losing someone who is not afraid to lose me. It's about choosing peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, strength over weakness, because every time you choose yourself, every time you walk away from something that disrespects your soul, you build another brick in the fortress of your self-worth. Think about this. The energy you spend chasing is energy you could spend building. The time you waste convincing someone of your value is time you could use to improve it, to develop yourself, to work on your dreams, to surround yourself with people who don't need to be convinced. Because they already see it, they already feel it, they already know it. When you know your worth, you stop competing for places you were never meant to fit. You stop fighting for attention that should be freely given. You stop knocking on doors that stay closed. You stop writing chapters in books where your name doesn't belong. And instead, you start attracting the people, the opportunities, the relationships that align with your value, that recognize your worth without you having to shrink yourself or stretch yourself beyond recognition. Some will say, but what if they leave when I stop chasing? And I say, if they leave, let them. If your presence was only valued when you pursued them, it was never truly valued at all. And that's not a loss. That's a revelation. Because the ones who are meant for you will walk toward you without you having to run toward them. The ones who are meant for you will meet you halfway. They will respect your time. They will honor your boundaries. They will cherish your presence without you having to sell it. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, respect is earned not through the amount of effort you pour into someone else, but through the amount of respect you show yourself. And when you stop chasing, you give people the space to feel your absence, to measure your value in the silence, to understand that your worth is not negotiable, not conditional, not dependent on their approval, because you have already approved of yourself. So hold your head high. Walk with dignity, speak with clarity, and never ever compromise your self-worth for temporary attention. Because the moment you decide to value yourself fully, the world has no choice but to follow your lead. and those who don't simply step aside, making room for those who will. When you stop chasing, something shifts, something subtle yet powerful, because desire is a flame that needs oxygen, and constant pursuit can smother it. When you're always present, always available, always reaching out, you remove the mystery, you erase the anticipation. You make it too easy to take you for granted, but when you step back, when you allow space, you create room for curiosity to grow. You give the other person a chance to wonder, where did they go? What are they doing? Who are they becoming without me? That wondering is powerful. It stirs emotions they didn't even realize were there. It awakens a sense of longing. It makes your presence feel valuable again. Because absence has a strange way of reminding people of what they once had. And sometimes, they only recognize the warmth when it's no longer there every moment. Space is not about punishment. It's about balance. It's about understanding that attraction thrives on contrast. Closeness and distance, presence and absence, words and silence. All of these play a role in keeping the connection alive. Too much of one and the other begins to fade. But when you master the rhythm, when you give space at the right time, you keep the spark alive without forcing it. When you're always chasing, you rob the other person of the chance to step toward you, to make an effort, to show they care. But when you pause, when you pull back, you invite them to move, to choose, to prove through action what their words might fail to express. And in that choice lies the truth about their intentions. It's in the quiet space, in the absence of your voice, in the gap between your messages, that they feel the weight of your energy missing. And in that moment, they begin to remember your laughter, your presence, your kindness, the way you made them feel, and that memory becomes fuel for desire. Because longing cannot exist without space, and attraction cannot thrive without a little distance. So understand this, the pause is not a loss. The space is not rejection. The distance is not disinterest. It's a tool, a powerful one. And when you use it with wisdom, you don't just protect your energy, you increase your value. You remind the world that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. And that privilege must be earned, not chased. When you stop chasing, you are setting a line that quietly says, I respect myself enough not to run after what should walk towards me. And that line becomes a boundary, one that needs no explanation, one that speaks louder than 1,000 words. Because boundaries are not walls to keep love out. They are gates to protect love's value. And when you draw them with confidence, you teach others exactly how you deserve to be treated. Every time you refuse to overextend yourself, every time you choose silence instead of chasing, every time you walk away from disrespect, you are teaching a lesson without raising your voice. You are showing that your time is not cheap, your energy is not for sale, your heart is not a toy. And your attention is not something to be played with. If you keep chasing, you tell them, my presence will always be here, no matter how little you give, no matter how much you take. But when you stop, when you stand still, when you hold your ground, you send a different message, a stronger one, a message that says, will not settle for crumbs when I know I deserve the feast. Boundaries are not about control. They are about clarity. They make it clear that your love is deep, but not desperate, that your care is genuine, but not endless for those who misuse it, that your loyalty is strong but not blind. And when people see that you have this strength, they begin to approach you with more respect, more caution, more appreciation. It's simple. The more you respect yourself, the more others will respect you. And the moment you stop chasing is the moment you step into that truth. It's the moment they see you are not afraid to lose what is not willing to stay. It's the moment they understand your worth is not negotiable. And it's the moment they start to treat you with the value you've always deserved. When you are always the one pursuing, the one calling, the one texting, the one initiating, the balance of power tilts without you even realizing it, because the one who chases is often the one who invests more. And the one who invests more can sometimes be the one taken for granted. But the moment you stop, the moment you pause, the moment you pull your energy back, something shifts, the power changes hands. Now they feel the absence. Now they notice the quiet. Now they start to wonder why the attention they once received so freely has suddenly disappeared. And that wondering is where the dynamic begins to transform. Because when you no longer hand over your time and energy without thought, you force them to decide whether they are willing to give back what they've been taking. This isn't about playing games. It's about balance. It's about not letting someone else's comfort come at the cost of your self-respect. It's about making sure the connection is not a one-way street. And when you remove your constant pursuit, you create a moment of truth. A test without saying a word. Will they step forward, or will they let the space grow? And here's the reality. Those who truly value you will feel the shift. They will sense the change in energy. And they will want to close the gap. They will reach out. They will invest. They will try to rebuild the rhythm that your absence disrupted. But those who are only there for convenience will fade. And as painful as that may be, it's a gift, because now you know exactly where you stand. The power shift is not about dominance. It's about equality. It's about ensuring that your heart is not the only one doing the work, that your attention is not the only fuel keeping the connection alive. And the moment you understand that, you stop pouring yourself into places that give you nothing in return, and start saving your energy for where it will be matched. Silence has a language of its own, and when you stop chasing, that silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the truth that words often hide. Because in your absence, they are forced to face themselves, forced to decide if your presence truly mattered, forced to feel the difference between having you and losing you. When you're always speaking, always reaching out, always filling the space, they never get the chance to hear their own thoughts about you. They never have to question your place in their life, because you've already made it too easy. But when you step back, when you let the quiet settle, the truth starts to rise to the surface. If they care, the silence will pull them towards you. It will push them to reach out, to reconnect, to make sure they don't lose the bond they once had. But if they don't, the silence will be comfortable for them. And that comfort is your answer. A clear sign that their investment was never deep enough to begin with. This kind of silence is not coldness. It's clarity. It's the simplest, most honest way to see what someone feels without asking them a single question. Because action in the face of silence speaks louder than any promise, any excuse, or any sweet words ever could. And when you embrace this mirror, you stop fearing what the reflection might show. You start valuing the truth over temporary comfort. And you begin to see that silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the presence of truth, unfiltered and undeniable. The deepest truth is this: neediness repels, self-sufficiency attracts, and when you no longer need to chase, you shift the entire energy around you, because people are drawn to those who stand tall on their own, who walk with purpose whether someone joins them or not, who radiate confidence without demanding attention. When you let go of the chase, you stop sending the message that your happiness depends on their response, their approval, or their presence. Instead, you show that you are whole on your own, complete within yourself. And that wholeness is magnetic. It pulls people in without effort, without pleading, without the exhausting push that chasing requires. There's something irresistibly powerful about someone who doesn't need you, but chooses you. Someone who isn't desperate for your attention, but still values your connection. Someone who has a full life and a strong sense of self, because that person's presence feels like a privilege, not an obligation. When you stop chasing, you create a shift. You're no longer the pursuer, you're the prize. You're no longer the one proving your worth. You're the one allowing others to rise to meet it. And those who are truly meant for you will find the challenge irresistible. Because real connection is built on mutual desire, not one-sided pursuit. And so you learn the less you need from others, the more they want to give. The less you cling, the more they hold on. And the moment you understand this, you'll see that the power of attraction has never been about chasing. It's always been about becoming. When you stop chasing, you step into a version of yourself that is calm, steady, and unshakable. Because you are no longer moved by fear of loss. You are moved by the certainty of your value. And that certainty changes everything. People notice when you are not desperate for attention, when you are not bending over backwards to earn what